What's going on, gamers? Hopefully everyone's day is going okay. Mine's okay. We just got back from setting up the funeral, which is going to happen Monday. So, yeah, let's get into this, though. There's an interesting thing going on the internet right now, and it's the Series S drama popping up again. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know, but No Rest for the Wicked is an amazing game. But the developers here, Moon Studios, as you know, is basically saying that they're going to be skipping the Xbox Series consoles at launch due to the Series S version making it rough and that they don't want to put the resources in there. So basically, they want to make their money off of PS5 and PC and then use some resources to probably get Microsoft involved with the Series S and have that come in later. And because of the parity clause, Series X is not going to be able to get it. Because the majority of people that own an Xbox, most sales, if you look at history, is Series S. And I know immediately this is going to set off a lot of people and cause up a bunch of console wars. I'll have my headline, of course, too. But you know, when you get into the video, we're going to explain things. And it's not going to be no clickbait. So, No Rest for the Wicked Xbox Series version, as we see, will not launch aside PlayStation 5 and PC versions because they're struggling with the Series S version, says Thomas Mahler. And I like Thomas Mahler. He's a cool guy. Series S is making that rough, he explained. We'll ship it after in a good way once it's optimized like crazy for Switch 2 and Xbox. Now, the smart thing that he said was to include the Switch 2 and Xbox because the Series S and Switch 2 have similar specifications. The difference here is the Switch 2 came out later. It has NVIDIA's DLSS technology, which is better than FSR technology, though Series S has better CPU. This game probably is more GPU heavy though, but it's not the most demanding game in the world. We already know this. The problem here is that there's a big difference when it comes to optimizing. And I know for sure, I haven't even read much, that GTA 6 is going to be brought up. And I'm like, yeah, that's Rockstar though. They could put $1 billion plus into that game. And that's what they do. They set the bar. These devs are not Rockstar. They're good indie devs, but they're not that though. And I think they're thinking about their budget. So they're no longer with Microsoft like that. So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this also as well. Going down into the comments, J-Dub says, damn, my brother Post Up SOG told us that Series S would never be a bottleneck because the Series S CPU was more powerful than a PS5. Well, here's the thing. GPU is most of the power. It also has less RAM, big time. So, yeah, no. That's not necessarily true when you think about certain things. The problem here, like I said, is that they want that massive profit from PC and from PlayStation 5. And once they get that optimized, they're going to then start working on the other two versions because they'll have that profit there. I'm thinking that's one of the reasons. Or, you know, you'll have people come in and say Sony money had it. So, you know, this is the thing. This has been a problem with Black Myth Wukong and certain other things. Maybe Sony does have that going on, but I don't know. We'll have to find out. Dr. Tobias says GTA 6 is going to launch on Series S at the same time as PS5 Pro. All this tells me is that Moon Studios isn't a very good developer. No. They're good developers. There's something why they're not doing this. They don't want to take the time to do both versions and spend those extra resources. So like I said, they probably recoup the cost from PlayStation and PC. Then they'll do that and then launch that with the Switch 2 version. Then get the Switch 2 profit along with the Xbox profit, which is going to be lesser than everything else because they don't buy as many games and they don't have the install base compared to other platforms. Because I've done coverage before with Black Myth Wukong about how this stuff here is. They're just choosing not to focus on that and they want to maximize the optimization for PS5 and PC. That's pretty obvious. And then, you know, like I said, there's probably going to be something about somebody saying, do you think Sony money had it? Well, if he would have said that, he would have said it's an exclusive deal. So I don't know, though. He says, an easy pass on this game for me. As we know, this guy is an Xbox guy, so it's going to be a lot of Xbox players coming down here. Snake Venom posts, will find a way to defend this in 2026. Had plenty of practice since 2020. Dune Awakening and the Series S will be a challenge. Developer calls the Series S an albatross around the neck of production. Infinity Ward, Series S could be bottlenecked for next-gen development. And as we go down here, we see it. Remedy, Xbox Series S optimization is nowhere near as simple as lowering resolution and textures. But these are like older times. People are now used to optimizing all the way down to the Steam Deck. So I can understand why people are going to be arguing against that. Xbox Series S specs limit the scope of Kingdom Come Deliverance. I mean, you even saw what happened with Crimson Desert. Stuff gets crazy. It is really blurry. You see a big difference, of course. Getting The Witcher 4 to run at 60 frames on the Series S will be extremely challenging, says CD Projekt Red. Yeah, of course. Developer says Xbox Series S could hold back multi-platform games. Dying Light 2 lead designer says Xbox Series S GPU is holding us back from 60 frames per second. So guys, we get the idea here. I don't know why Infinity Ward said that in 2020. They've been making Call of Duty on PS4 and Xbox One. So I don't know. I guess maybe they had a different thing in sight here. Axis Paul says runs on Steam Deck but not Series S. Okay, that's where I say that. That's the argument here. But because it's on PC, I think that there'll be something for that. But no, I mean, hey, you guys are making some valid points here. And they're going to just, you know, this is the thing. They're just kind of letting you know, man, I'm sorry, but PlayStation 5 is the way to go. I'm going to make my most money there. I used to be exclusive on Xbox. Could there be some like history there that's also not liked? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely there. But yeah, there's going to be some people that are not going to like this. Sammy says, I bet it would run butter smooth if the developer didn't hate Xbox and the Series S had sold 100 million units. I mean, Mahler has been crying about Microsoft and the Series S for at least 2 years. I mean, there's some truth to that where he doesn't like them because they did not have a good partnership towards the end. This isn't anything new with Microsoft, though. Many people have said the same thing before. Alucard says, this is the reality. The Series S is holding back next-gen gaming. We're too lazy to optimize our games. You look at the world today, most people go all the way down to the lowest denominator, up to the highest. It is something that is now set in stone and is now normal. Definitely with the Switch 2 coming on the market, and they know that's going to sell over 100 million or get somewhere around there. So a lot of third-party developers are putting their games on there that are more demanding than Ori. They're just choosing not to do that, I'm telling you, because they probably don't have the most money that you would think they would anyways. They're not some AAA developer that sells 10, 15, 20 million copies of games and has a ton of money sitting around. I think they're kind of narrowing it down to do that and saving the resources, and then they'll do it. Like I said, I think that's what it is, and there's probably some saltiness that they don't like about Xbox. I wonder how they can look us straight to our faces and drop such satanic BS about the Central View mid-graphics games, where 99.9% games get simultaneously releases everywhere, including absolute graphic marvels at 60 frames per second. John says, I call crap on this as it works on PC at lower specifications. So yeah, there is some things here. There are some people that are going to be mad here. At this point, I am tired of this lame excuse. After seeing the Animusha demo on the S, this is a skill issue or console warring from a bitter ex-dev. Well, we also saw Pragmata, Resident Evil 9 or Requiem. So right now, Mahler is going to be looked at as somebody that hates Xbox. He's sided with Sony, and that he does not want to prioritize the day one launch at the same time. At least you know you're getting the game, but yeah, he's definitely going with Sony. Infamous Liberal Gamer says, this Mahler dude is such a liar. The Series S is more powerful than a Switch 2. Okay, so here's the thing. Switch 2 has been having better image quality GPU-wise. Now, if you say the CPU is, yes, of course. But DLSS is way better than FSR till you get to FSR 4. And Switch 2 GPU is probably about the same as it, except it's NVIDIA and it has DLSS. So I don't know about that. Also, yeah, you'll be running it at lower specifications in handheld mode. So I get what you're saying. But Switch 2 has more RAM, but it's not at the higher memory pool as Xbox is. It just depends. I think the dev just, like I said, he's targeting what he's targeting. He's not targeting Nintendo either, so, but you don't see him saying anything about the Switch 2. So I can see why people will probably get upset about that. And this same dude was threatening Xbox gamers that he might not bring that game to Xbox because Xbox wasn't helping him. I want to play this game. I could just buy it on PC or played it in early access. Yeah, for sure. Jabby says, this excuse doesn't fly anymore. We just had James Bond run on the thing. Rockstar will make GTA run and no rest of the record runs on the Steam Deck. Stop the cap, they're saying. So they're thinking that behind all this surface that he just displayed, it is definitely a problem with Xbox and siding with Sony, most likely in the console space. Because even Nintendo has to wait. And we know they're going to be having a ton of console sale. And people love games like that on there. But they probably got the development kits later. So right now, like I said, I think also it comes down to budget. Yeah, Microsoft didn't help me. Give me some money because I don't have all that money. I'm just an indie dev. They made the 2 Ori games. They're not like a rich company or anything. So I could see, like I said, I could see that combination with the bitterness, and I just don't like Microsoft. We worked together and they didn't do me the favor you thought they did. I wasn't satisfied with Game Pass. I'm going to be way more satisfied going to PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo, and then have an Xbox. And then I feel like I can get my fruition. And I think that's something that's very huge here. Nobody is falling for this tired strategy to guerrilla market your game with a little console war conversation after DICE debunked it with Battlefield. Well, it could help you develop if you know how to do that. And like I said, there's so much evidence to prove that it could be on the Series S. Like I said, they're just choosing not to do it. So this is where this is going. And this seems to be something that is all over right now. People are just upset right there because well, this is how I found it. The Series S was actually trending, which I kind of found funny. And you guys know we already talked about the stuff over there earlier. But yeah, this is a thing right now. People are not happy about it. You could also just go to Twitter and type in "no rest for the wicked." And this is going to be what's coming up on top articles. Pirate Nation says no rest for the wicked. Version 1.0 comes out on October on PlayStation and PC. It includes full crossplay and cross-save support between these platforms. The Xbox Series X, S, and Nintendo Switch 2 versions are delayed and will arrive later. So the Xbox Series X version could have came out, yes, but that's a parity clause. It just doesn't make any sense. But the fact that they included the Switch 2 versions later on kind of gives you an idea of the prioritization here. Not like indie games will sell more on PlayStation than Nintendo, but more like this is probably dev kits and something else going on. But it is coming. But no matter what, people are going to be mad about this. This guy says 2 years, 1.8 million players, and now we finally get to say it. The Rest for the Wicked launches this October on PC and PS5. 100 plus hours of content, an all new class system, and the final story arc you've been theorizing. To every single person who bought in and believed in us during early access, thank you. You made this happen. And we have amazing Founders Pack rewards waiting for you if you grab the game on Steam before July 10th. Don't worry if you're a PS5 player, you're covered during pre-orders. This is just the beginning. Watch the announcement trailer. So there we have it. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Become a member. Leave a tip down below. Obviously, like, comment, and subscribe. Are you annoyed about this? That Thomas Mahler was saying that the Series X is making that rough, he explained. So that means that they had the Xbox versions to work on, but they decided to put them at the side. And they just want to focus on PlayStation 5 and already officially launching it on PC because it's already done there. And it's been running on the Steam Deck. Are you angry about that? Do you think it's BS? Let me know down in the comments below. Later. Keep on gaming, y'all.